Probate's not bad. I can't say that it's a bad process in Oklahoma. I just feel very strongly that no one should have to go through it if they don't want to, right?
Is the cost the same for probate and a trust?
We do have a lot of data inside our firm, Kayla, for that, and I'm glad you asked that question. It is not the same. Some people can say at the surface it might appear to be the same, but most of our probate
change it or not?
James, great question. The answer is probably not. At almost 99%, they cannot change them, right? In typical grantor trust, the grantor, who in this example, you drafted it, you're granting power to it,
Yeah.
and when you pass away, you take that power to revoke it with, so no one can.
I don't care, I'll be, it doesn't matter to me.
That's right.
I just want to, some families, they fight about that.
They do.
Yes, they do.
Do we make the trust together, or?
Yes, probably.
And if he's gone,
Then you would step in to be trustee, depending on how you wanted that to work.
so I could change it.
If you wanted to. So the sky's the limit, right? We can make it. I've seen estates where with the first to pass, it becomes irrevocable. They can't change it.
Okay.
We've seen some where they can both change it. We've seen some families, believe it or not, that have multiple trusts. This trust is set up this way, this trust is set up that way, and this trust is set up the other third way. Some with different levers, some with different mechanisms in there. So a design meeting is a chance to sit down and have a conversation. And I totally stole Bria's line. She and I practiced together for a number of years. She asked her clients, what is it that you want to accomplish? Or what is your fear in estate planning? What are you trying to avoid? And that just starts a conversation, right? And it's mostly us listening and saying, what about this? What about that? How's that, right? So, James, I'm glad you asked that question, because that helps us unpack this just a little bit. So, the second marriage is a big topic, right? Because it can be really, really hard. And one of the subtle nuances about what they want to be there. Dad said I got the house. Well, Mom said I got the house. Well, Dad said I got his '68 Corvette. They're probably both all right. But without that written down, without that being clearly documented and notarized and written in stone, there's room for interpretation. So we want to avoid that. Blended families, again, right? If we have half siblings or step siblings and the second marriage has earned money, they have a new lake house or a second lake house or a boat, that's very complicated, right? We were doing a design meeting not long ago, and they had a lake house, and they wanted their siblings or the stepchildren all to use it. We all know the story, right? One of them wants control of it. One of them wants to show up whenever they want to, but doesn't want to pay anything for it. And the other one doesn't use it at all. Well, I don't want a third of my inheritance to be a lake house on Ufall that I don't want. Well, the parents sat down, were very intentional how to divide up money and responsibility and taxes and use. All that was done inside the trust. They got to pick it, right? They got to design.
Yeah. Sounds like it was not real right.
Family businesses, right? So we talked about the vacation of a family business. What if we've got a growing, viable, functioning business? A client right now, he has three children. The daughter does not want anything to do with the business. She's down in Dallas and she's doing great. The middle one is more controlling and is wanting to be a manager and a leader. And the youngest one wants to work at the company, but he has no desire to show up on time. Right, so they're working on being there at 8 o'clock, right? That's the basics. Well, how does he divide up his net worth? One doesn't want anything involved. One wants to run it. The other just wants a job. Well, we can work on family businesses and transitioning an asset. We're slowly working through that and unpacking that, connecting it with their LLC. And so this is where the estate plan and the assets begin to come together. Because this client in particular is going to choose, hey, I'm going to give all of my business to the middle. It's a several $1 million business. He wants to make it right in his eyes by giving cash to the other two, right? So now we're having to title assets and change assets and work out the value. And as the value of these accounts go up and down, we have to connect all that together.
I got one for you.
Yes.
My stepfather passed, and he had quite a money, and he left a trust where my mother, he left everything to charity, except she would be taking care of, for her daily stuff until she passed. And she has a house on property, but the property is supposed to go to the church when she passes. But she has a house on there that she wants to leave to someone else, but she can't because the land is hers.
So Robin, I'm glad you brought that up. And this is probably one of those really specific questions that would probably take a really strong cup of coffee to work through, right? Or maybe something stronger, depending on. But sounds like he was intentional when he drafted that, right? He designed it this way, and he wants this to happen. And sometimes we don't always like other people's choices, but we have to try to navigate them as we can. And we do a lot of work helping people navigate that. But you're exactly right. There are nuances to that and ways to effectively control the assets from beyond the grave. And one of them is charitable planning. We do a lot of charitable planning. I want to give maybe the International House of Pancakes or International House of Prayer, right? That was important to our client. She wanted to give money to this charitably, to this institution, which is really easy for us, right? We can help think that through and help people navigate charitable planning, whether it's a one-time gift or a recurring gift. But that's set out in your estate plan, right? There's no, if there's money left over, I give it all to my child, and he or she knows that the church is important to me, so they're going to give. We're not going to do that. And the last thing, specific areas that need design are spendthrifts. Spendthrift is a term of art, and you guys can kind of think about what that means. We all know the expression trust fund baby, right? I don't have to have a job, I'm rich. I don't have to work, people give me money all the time. That's kind of a spendthrift there. We might know people like that. I don't always blame spendthrifts, they're the product of their own. They're punished for their grandparents' wealth or their parents' wealth. It can be hard to navigate that. But if you have someone like that in your family that needs help managing money, you need to have someone in your family that just needs some stewardship, right? Sometimes there's substance abuse, sometimes there's behavioral issues, and you need to build protection around them. This is the trust is a perfect vehicle to do that. I have a special needs sister, and we love her unconditionally. She should not and will not inherit assets, because when she does, she'll lose government benefits. That sounds hard on the surface. Well, why aren't you going to give your sister anything? Don't you love her? Of course we love her, but the federal benefits are worth more than the $20 she's going to get from mom's on the rest, so it's not even worth it. But again, it's a customized decision. Okay, so we get this question a lot, how to finalize your last wishes, right? It's important to me, and so how do I detail, how do I let the world know what I want to have happen? I'm going to encourage you guys, this is kind of a public service, prepaid policy is, the funeral business is an industry. They're there to make money. But asking your loved one to navigate and negotiate that after you've passed is really hard. We did that for my father after he died. I went back a couple months later and realized that we paid a lot more than we needed to. So do a prepaid policy. Go work through whatever you want. Be very specific with them. They're a third party. And inside that, write it down. And this is not legally binding. There's nothing in here that says this is what you want that you have to do. There's no contract for this. But write down what you want, right? Write down your service preferences, your location, your burial, cremation, even write your obituary. Hey, make sure you mention these things, right? But if that's important to you, then take the time to write that down. If you don't care, right, James?
No, I mean, he was born, he worked, he died. So,
That's right.
here's some dad.
And a lot of people are like that. But if it's important to you, then make sure you take notes of it and write it down. It's important to you, then make sure they know. But what I want to impress upon everybody is don't leave it up to chance. Because the music I like, that I'm going to play at my brother's funeral, probably not the music he likes. Well, he's not there. He didn't care. But if it's important to you, then own it. Be in charge of that. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about assets real quick. A little technical. We have a few minutes left, so I'm going to go a little bit fast. People have asked how to calculate the value of your estate. Warning, this is math. For those of you who are not math-oriented like me, this is as complicated as we're going to get to. Take your investments, your real estate, your valuables, and by the way, your valuables are not as valuable as you think they are. Right? That's where everybody fights, believe it or not. Add it all up. So in this example, our total estate is worth $435,000. That's it. Add up all your stuff. That's the value of your estate. Okay? Real quickly, because we're running out of time, and we can talk about this in more detail one-on-one. There's a step-up basis versus carryover basis. This is very tax heavy. If I give Tracy a gift, if I give Tracy a piece of real estate, Tracy receives the gift, he receives the cost, right? If I pay $100 for this piece of dirt, he receives that. He gets the benefit of it, but he also gets the cost. But if I keep it in my name and when I die, the value readjusts to my date of death value. So again, step up versus carryover basis, very complicated. And again, it might not be applicable to everybody, but we're happy to talk about it in more detail. Let's see here. Design strategies to reduce taxes. There are a lot of people out there that are worried about estate taxes. If you have that problem, congratulations. Not everybody has that, but there are certain things you can do to be actively reducing your estate tax. Uncle Sam is reducing everybody's exemption amount next year. So if you have over 13 million, it's going to drop down to 6 million. Again, congratulations, you've worked hard for that. But you can give depreciated assets. If you have stocks and bonds that you paid $100 for, and now the asset's worth $200, you can make that gift. Remember we talked about this, like, is you gift the cost and you gift the increase to the charity, or that you're gifting it to, so they pay taxes outside of your estate. The other thing to think about is you can gift 501c3s, nonprofit stocks, bonds, real estates. So if you want to reduce your taxable estate, there's a lot of creative ways to do that. There's not a one-size-fits-all. It's very specific. Some people don't have that challenge, but again, some do. Life insurance. We're talking about life. How do I do life insurance? How does that work? Life insurance is estate tax free. So if you notice on our list back there, we didn't put it inside of our estate tax. So when I pass away, there's no estate tax owed on life insurance. It passes outside of my death tax. So great lobbying on the life insurance industry. It can be a very effective tool, right, when you want to leave a financial gift. So that one client who had a business and he was trying to weigh out, give the business to his son, but his daughter, he bought a life insurance policy and she's going to receive cash, son's going to get the business. So a lot of flexibility, a lot of creative things to do with life insurance. Again, balancing against non-financial gifts. Maybe you give somebody the vacation home or the second home, and then life insurance is a way to balance that out. The family farm versus the cash example. And then finally, second marriages, right? We don't have all the assets we want, but life insurance is a very effective tool for second marriages. So I want to cut it short and have a few generic questions here. And then Bree and I will be around to answer your questions in more detail. But if you want to have a design meeting, let us know. I don't want you, a design meeting doesn't obligate anything. It's just a discussion. It's just you walk away from our design meeting with a plan of what's important to you. You can take that to any attorney in town you want to. There's a lot of good estate planning firms in town. But I want you, the importance of this was for you to not be afraid or be intimidated by the process, to not be intimidated by a design meeting. Because I want you to own it. Most design meetings take about an hour. And again, you have peace of mind when you're done. You know what's going to happen. So we want you to take control of that today. I see too many times when families don't take proactive steps. Their kids pay the price. It's the in-law that gets fiery. It's maybe there's a debt out there, there's someone greedy out there, and their kids and their family pay the price because mom and dad left a vacuum. And the kids put their own interpretation and their own beliefs on what they should have happen, and they filled that vacuum. Don't do that. If you don't want to give any of your kids, give it all to charity. That's great. There's a lot of great charities, but be intentional. It's really not that hard. Our typical process is we do design meeting for an hour. Sometimes they're shorter than that. Sometimes they're longer. Sometimes if it gets complicated enough, they break it into two. That's okay. But usually not. Usually it's about an hour. We will sit down and we'll rough out a framework for someone on all those 5 documents, right? We send rough drafts of those documents to clients. Clients double check spelling, make sure we got it right. Give the thumbs up or thumbs down, and if they're ready, then we sit around and draft the documents. Last word that I'm going to end with right here, and I want you guys to write all this down, right? On one of those white pieces of paper, write this word down. This is critical. If you're going to do a trust, fund it. Fund it. Funding. Our law firm does it, there's a few others that do it. But a trust is a box that holds your assets. But most boxes show up empty, don't they? Funding is putting stuff inside the box. An empty box is useless. Make sure when you're done with your design plan, right, that you have funding taken care of. So that's it. We've been going for 45 minutes. Any kind of generic questions, definitions, or how does this work? Again, Bree and I will be here to talk to you guys as long as we need to do kind of one-on-one. We'd love to visit with you guys. Anything high-level definitions, clear as mud?
A question on the meeting that you're talking about, you keep saying that we listen, you make it. I buy a gun, my ultimate purpose is to hit the target, but I don't know the ammunition, the brand of gun, all this kind of stuff.
Right.
We'll say, so do you feel that, do you kind of guide, say, hey, your expectations
Yeah.
are very minor, you're not thinking about this, and this?
That's exactly right.
Okay.
The
So it's not
phrase-
just one-sided, it's.
Oh, no, it's back and forth, that's right. A lot of times we'll say, well, help me understand why it's important to you,
Okay.
right? The lady for the IHOP, right? Why is IHOP important to you? Because everybody loves IHOP. Everybody should benefit from IHOP, right? I'm thinking, man, she loves pancakes too, this is great. Well, that conversation evolved about why it was important.
Okay.
And a little small nuance, it's not gonna go straight to IHOP, it's gonna go to a portion inside here. We uncovered it was really the international part of that she was on fire for. Okay, we customized that gift even further from her. So, yes, it's a lot of dialogue, and I don't care, I don't have a dog in the fight. You want both of your kids to be in charge? Great. Here are the pros and cons of having 2 people in charge. We'll just talk about that, right? We'll just work through that. There's no right or wrong answer, but it's a dialogue and a discussion with our wisdom and experience. So, great question, thank you. Yes?
What is like an average cost of setting up a trust?
I don't know if for the average cost, like for the state of Oklahoma, I just don't know that. Most estate plans do have like fixed fees, like there are a flat fee if you engage for X, we'll produce these 5 documents for this price. And for us, it depends. I'm sorry.
Is that what you do?
This is what we do. It depends on how complicated it wants to be, right? Do you need, pardon the expression, right? Do you need a Ford? Do you need a Toyota? Do you need a Lexus? Do you need a Lamborghini? I mean, some people say, look, I just need to get A to B here. So it really depends. It's a personalized, customized decision. And not everybody needs a full-fledged trust, right? I think they should have one. It's my personal bias, but it's not always a good fit for it. So it's a
Kind of like
personal.
a range, kind of like lowest to the highest.
Yeah.
Kind of general idea.
Yeah, general idea.
So our initial estate plans for individuals started around $3,600, and our highest taxable estate plans, started around $10,000, $8,800, $10,000, depending on whether how many tens of millions we do. So,
Yeah, senior citizens discount.
yes, sir. Yeah, we raise the price and then
Military.
discount it. That's right.
Now I forgot my questions.
Well, I want to be sensitive to everybody's time, so I'll be here as long as it takes. Make sure that your blue piece of paper, that you fill that out for feedback. I'd love to see how it did, how I can get better.